Good morning. I hope everybody slept well. I have a lot to cover this morning. First and foremost, people's assumptions, people's assumptions of you are going to be based off their perceptions of you, and their perceptions of you generally stem from perceptions of themselves. A lot of the times people don't even recognize when they're deflecting or redirecting or judging. They don't even recognize when they're doing it, right? So when they don't even recognize when they're doing it, it's kind of something that's been ingrained in them. But truth be told, it comes from their own adoptive thinking. And their adoptive thinking generally comes from perceptions of what they think of themselves. It is true, and it's one of those things. As soon as I kind of woke up to the reality that, okay, people's actions and people's perceptions towards me are not a reflection of me. They're a reflection of themselves. Because it got to the point there where everybody's actions around me were not making sense. They were not making sense. They were vengeful. They were hurtful. They were manipulated, and they were calculated. And I'm like, what the F is going on here? You know what I'm saying? And I woke up to it, and I one day, and I was just, and I shouldn't say one day. I mean, it was a progress. Believe me, it was like an onion peeled back layer by the grace of God, just kind of walking me through it. And I was always listening to God's guidance, to my higher self, to my Christ conscience, to the Holy Spirit, and just kind of helping me kind of course through this seasons of life. And a lot of it came from people's projections and vindictiveness in calculated ways. And so it was really difficult for me to open up to the reality that, okay, it actually is nothing wrong with me. I mean, I do have things that I need to work on. I do have things that I need to heal. But if people don't have the ability to come and have a conversation with you about whatever it is they feel like they have the right to be mean and vindictive and condescending and rude and judgmental, they don't have the ability to come have a conversation with you. They're basing their perception and their assumptions off he say, she said stuff. In the rumor campaign, then no, that's just not something I'm gonna entertain. It's just not something I'm gonna entertain. Generally, I've never been just mean to somebody based off he said, she said. I'm just never been a mean person. I've been on the fence of being bullied and made fun of and chastised and cast aside. And it's just never something that I've done. And I don't understand why people get enjoyment out of being mean girls or the cool kids. Okay. And that's fine, right? You don't see anything wrong with it. But then when it turns right back around on them and they get called out for truth, for the reality that they're just insecure people being spoiled little brats, really, then they get upset. And then they start sending out cease and desist. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. Or start doing all these crazy things in the back and get mommy and daddy involved. How about that, Benz? The Benz. You know what I'm saying? So weird. Anywho, I have quite a bit that I want to unpack. It'll probably be 2 videos. I gotta work today, so we're on a timeline. I gotta start getting ready. This came to me last night, right before I went to bed. I watched the kidnapping documentary on, golly, was it Mary Kate and Kate? I think. Don't quote me on that. It was she was 14 and she was abducted from her room. And she was kidnapped for, I want to say, like 9 months, and went through the most egregious, abusive SA. Just the worst. You got to see it if you haven't, right? Of course, it was in Utah. Everything's in Utah, and everything's involved with Mormon. It's crazy. I'm not saying they're all like that, but golly, Utah is a prominent state with all this craziness. And so at the end of it, it was a really quite telling story, and it was really quite inspirational. But it took years upon years for the guy that kidnapped her and essayed. I don't know what I could say on here. I mean, I don't get any views anyways, but essayed her egregiously, right? And he was very strategic when he went to using the mental insanity portion of it. And so the verdict, his trial kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed until she went in there and gave a witness statement or whatever they're called. And it was extremely detailed. And could you imagine a victim having to do such things like that just so he could be put behind bars, right? And the whole reason why I'm getting to this is it is very difficult for people that have been met with trauma, that people have went through egregious situations, heinous predicaments when it comes to physical, sexual, mental, psychologically, spiritually, financially, abuse. Outside of this world, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, but because I'm just thinking about so many things. Do you know how hard it is for someone to just turn a page when they know all the brutal things that have been done to them in the dark? And it be physical, some be physical, right? Some be psychological, right? Sexual. And and I'm dating back all to my young childhood, right? And you can't get a lick of accountability and a lick of justice for any of it. It's really hard for somebody to just kind of turn the page and the past. You deal with it. You deal with it. But you got to understand, you take something away from someone when they are abused on that fence of it. You take an innocence away from them, right? That they're never going to get back. Never going to get back. Okay? And the culprits that have been entangled in the whole operation still walk among us. And what's not to say they wouldn't do it to somebody else? If they did it to me, why wouldn't they do it to somebody else? So that's another concerning factor, right? And so I just think it's comical that so many people want people to be quiet when it comes to their past traumas, but they're not quiet because there hasn't been justice made. And it's like, no, absolutely not. We need to get to a world where people don't tell you to be quiet based on the fact that you're advocating for yourself to be justice for the illegal things that have happened to you, no matter the extent level of what they are. Illegal and unlawful actions are illegal, unlawful actions. The law is written for a reason. For some reason, there's people that can break the law and they can get away with it. And then there's people that don't break the law and their life is, don't break the law and their life is completely dismantled. That is a question of wondering, right? Like, make it make sense. And so this is another thing that I think when I hear oh, you just need to leave the past in the past. Oh no, I just need to see justice start happening or somebody to take accountability. So until that day comes out, I'm not going to leave the past in the past. So there you go. You walk a day in my shoes and tell me where you'd be at this point. And then we can talk. But no, everybody wants to pretend like they have no idea what's going on. That's even better. Let's see here. Let me just read. You can't truly let go of the past until some kind of justice prevails for us, for all the victims or victim whom endured abusive, i.e. mental, physical, emotional, sexual, spiritual, financial, psychological trauma. That's truth, and so I get it. And so at the end of the documentary, she's like, man, I can never let go of my past until he's truly behind bars forever. And I completely understand that, And it's like one of those things, it's like when it comes to me, it's just such a unique scenario because it's like, I don't want so much for people to end up in jail or anything like that. I just want people to take accountability because I know what happened. And I'm tired